Hey everybody, Matty here with Altcoin Buzz. Happy Monday, and the week is off to a great start. The traditional capital markets are reacting very favorably to all this momentum that we've been seeing over the weekend with Bitcoin. Take GreenPro Capital, for example. Their stock just skyrocketed when the markets opened this morning by over 100%, and all they did was they announced a Bitcoin fund that they're going to be initiating. So these guys taking a play directly out of the Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy playbook. They're down a little bit now. Some of the enthusiasm has waned, but only slightly, still up, as you can see, over 73% at the time of this recording. So this is very exciting news indeed. We're going to break this down. Also, we have the news that MicroStrategy is up, because a lot of people were wondering about, how the events of the weekend and the Bitcoin and the altcoin rising prices were going to affect the traditional markets. So really now you have Michael Saylor that's being vindicated in a couple of ways, and he's being legitimized. And it is my contention that you're going to see a wave of institutional interest on the part of the major corporate treasuries that are now going to bandwagon into Bitcoin. So this is a very, very good omen for things to come, guys. We have all kinds of news today with regard to crypto.com, with regard to Litecoin, with regard to announcements from Binance, who, by the way, are responding specifically to the Cover Protocol infinite minting attack, which, as you likely know by now, saw a price reduction to the tune of 97%, unfortunately. Forbes, if you can believe it or not, is also hosting their 2020 Crypto Awards. So things are crazy, guys. We have lots of other altcoin updates as well that we're going to cover in this video, which may be a lengthy one based on all the news that right now is circulating. As you can see, the markets here are a little bit lukewarm, down ever so slightly with a couple of notable exceptions. Bitcoin down/flat, but Ethereum up 4.9%. And a major notable exception today we see is Polkadot. We'll be discussing Polkadot and Polkastarter later in the video. Polkadot is up DOT 15.6% on the day. Okay, we do have a lot to get to here, but if you haven't checked out yesterday's video, we discussed Ethereum. I indicated that my focus is starting to shift toward Ethereum, largely on the heels of this positive news that we're seeing out of the CME group. They're launching Ethereum futures. That's effective as of the 8th of February, 2021. It is my contention, some may disagree, but it is my contention that this is a good thing for Ethereum, which is not yet a household name. I think it'll very shortly become one. And this is going to be the gateway drug, not only into DeFi and cryptocurrency platforms, but the broader altcoin market specifically. Ethereum, since that recording, has rallied very nicely to a local high here, as you can see, of about $700, just under $750. We're on the Binance ETH USDT futures charts here, looking at the 30-minute candle. So things are looking pretty good for Ethereum right now. And if for some crazy reason you have not yet checked out yesterday's video in which we laid out the current opportunity that Ethereum investors have, and we laid out the potential that, in my opinion, Ethereum has to offer for not only next year, but really the next few years as more and more continues to be built on Ethereum. Don't forget, it's not a digital asset in the way Bitcoin is, it's a platform. And therefore the potential is, in my opinion, once again, just my humble opinion, but the potential is super massive. So check out that video, guys. We'll link to it in the description below. Moving on, in today's news, we have TrustSwap. TrustSwap is in the news. TrustSwap Visa integration with Connect Financial. You can read about this on trustswap.medium.com. Here's the article: TrustSwap Visa integration with Connect Financial. Use Visa and pay with Swap SWAP worldwide. We're also covering it here on altcoinbuzz.io. This article by David: Swap to be available on Visa cards. Visa card holders will soon be able to spend swap across the world, either online or in person. And as you guys know the saying, once it's on a Visa card, you can then spend your funds that are loaded onto that, whether it's a credit or a debit card, at any terminal where Visa is accepted. There is a lot happening with TrustSwap, guys. If you have not yet checked out our one-on-one interview between Leah and Jeff Kurdikis of TrustSwap, breaking down what is TrustSwap, the role of box mining, and Ivan on tech mainnet, check out again this interview with Jeff Kurdikis with Leah. This back from a little while ago, July 29th of this year, 2020. But still very, very applicable indeed. Kudos to Jeff, kudos to the team, and we'll link to this in the description below for you to check it out. Crypto.com now is in the news. By the way, guys, if you want to boost your game and get into the crypto space, elevate yourself, you can sign up for our Crypto.com MCO Visa card referral link. It's in the description below. You'll get $25 loaded on for free when you use that link to sign up. And you'll also get a pretty nifty Visa card. As a reminder, these are now available both in Canada and in Australia. At Crypto.com is in the news. The Crypto.com weekly DeFi market update. 1inch exchange, new governance and utility token. Top 3 gainers are SNX plus 31%, NXM plus over 9%, and BAL plus 0.64%. Top 100 DeFi tokens market cap now at $18.5 billion. And check out cryptocomdefi.substack.com for their take on what moved the DeFi market in the last week. Litecoin now is in the news with some more bullishness. We talked about Litecoin as well yesterday. Some are calling for a $12,000 Litecoin in the next few years, kind of circa 2025 to 2030. So that's now kind of a cycle ahead of what we're entering into now. But $1 trillion market cap, based on the math and based how other assets are moving, could be possible at Litecoin here. On the 27th of December 2017, so 3 years ago, 2% of my addresses were SegWit, so Litecoin addresses here. On December 27th, 2020, that total was 72%. SegWit stands for Segregated Witness, which is a key foundational step towards implementation of the Lightning Network. Lightning Network enables tens of thousands of Litecoin transactions per second, surpassing Visa, MasterCard, and others. Moving on now in rapid fire fashion to a series of Binance announcements. CZ Binance here, Changpeng Zhao, is very excited about 2021. A few big products launching next year. Projects kicked off internally already. Let's get to what he's referring to. Number 1 here, Binance Staking launches Sushi at SushiSwap Super Rewards with up to 24.49% APY. And you can read more about that on Binance.com. Binance is also releasing its European-style bilateral Bitcoin options, which finally allows users to both buy and sell them on the platform. So the idea here is that you can buy a contract and then sell or transfer it to another user. Buy low, sell high, of course, and profits are made on the difference in the price. We also have a new introduction to the Binance Smart Chain, JewelSwap DEX decentralized exchange at JewelSwap here. Join us to celebrate the new JewelSwap trading user interface and the launch of our community token, Jewel D, on the Binance Smart Chain. Very good news indeed. Okay, let's now switch gears into some more controversial topics here and matters of hacking, as it were. So as you may have heard, a suspected hacker has exploited the Cover staking protocol, inflating the token supply by printing over 40 quintillion coins, quintillion with a Q. So this has contributed to the token crashing by 77%. In fact, more than that in less than an hour. In fact, the token's price dropped like a stone from about $761 to $192 at one point. However, in a surprising move, the suspected attacker returned the funds with a note saying, "Next time, take care of your own shit." As you can see here, Alex Saunders tweeting about this. You guys can read more about this here on Cointelegraph.com. Cover Protocol suffers infinite minting attack with a total price tank of 97%. But again, continuing with the Binance news, Binance actually has us covered. Binance will suspend Cover trading and Cover deposits. You can read more about that on Binance.com, which just kind of subjectively speaking here, I think Binance really is the best, not only in terms of transparency, but in terms of some of the contingencies that it has. I know you have to be careful with any exchange, and Binance is no exception, but I really do think that they do the best job in the industry when it comes to mitigating risk and providing a contingency plan for when such things occur. Read more about the details on how they're taking care of their users on Binance.com, but I'd like to tip my hat to them in this case for handling this with aplomb, as always, when such things unfortunately occur. All right, let's switch gears a little bit, and always with the levity here, we have Blockfolio caution. Here's a warning for you. While holding Bitcoin, some have experienced changes in behavior, such as a decreased trust in central authority and belief in the status quo, along with the common but not serious chance of renewed optimism for the future. Ask yourself if Bitcoin is right for you. And many have. For example, GreenPro, they've asked themselves if Bitcoin is right for them. Zero hedge here. GreenPro doubles overnight after $100 million Bitcoin investment. But here's the real news. If you've never heard of GreenPro, well, nobody would hold it against you. They were a company valued somewhere in the, maybe 70, 80, $90 million range as of Friday night when the markets closed. And then, of course, the speculation was that the bankers, the corporations, industry, the traditional markets would open up today and perhaps demonstrate some exuberance in response to all the positives that are happening with Bitcoin and altcoins. And we've definitely seen that play out here. So GreenPro announced a $100 million Bitcoin fund. And all of a sudden, that 70, 80, $90 million company, as soon as the markets opened, is now worth over $140 million. And in fact, I believe they were worth more because right now the price has calmed down a little bit, up 75% on the day. So since the markets opened this morning, now valued at $2.25 per share. So that is a major increase for GreenPro, which is a relatively small company. Here are the details on seekingalpha.com. GreenPro skyrockets over 101% with announcement of Bitcoin fund. So GreenPro Capital, they're listed on the NASDAQ. They've set up a Bitcoin fund for investment. The company believes in the ongoing mass adoption of Bitcoin by banks, hedge funds, insurance companies, and institutions, and endorses its belief that Bitcoin, as the world's most widely adopted cryptocurrency, is a reliable store of value. And guys, this is a monumental move because this validates everything that Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy have been doing. We talked last week about how there's almost this imperative now for corporate treasuries to get into Bitcoin, and CEOs around the world are looking at their USD reserves, they're looking at their treasuries, they're looking at what the Federal Reserve is doing, they're looking at skyrocketing inflation rates on the horizon, and they realize that those USDs sitting in their vaults, in their treasuries, are, as Michael Saylor would put it, melting ice cubes, and there's nothing that you can transfer it into other than Bitcoin that is efficient. You transfer it into gold. Gold still has a 2% annual inflation. You transfer it into other so-called high-yielding bonds, you're still losing out at the end of the day. Same thing goes for T-bills. All of a sudden, you have a second company stepping up to the plate in a big way, and I feel that this is the initiation of a chain reaction. I think that there's going to be a bandwagon effect, and more people are going to do this, provided that Bitcoin doesn't have some meteoric or catastrophic crash right now that turns people off. But even if it does, even if Bitcoin tanks 50% by the time you're watching this video, it will rebound, and so this is an inevitable eventuality in my opinion. Continuing here, GreenPro CEO CK Lee said, quote, "We fully believe in Bitcoin as a store of value. I've instructed our investment bankers to raise debt in Q1 2021 of up to $100 million to invest in Bitcoin, and the company will also invest its own cash into Bitcoin." So you're seeing two things here. You're seeing a win-win strategy in the sense that traditional companies, so NASDAQ listed, in this case, a capital company, they're being rewarded not only in terms of their traditional valuation on the stock market, they're also going to be rewarded in terms of the Bitcoin gains that they realize over the long term. There is no reason, I repeat, for any CEO at this point in time, December 28th, 2020, not to directly invest in Bitcoin in order to hedge against US dollars, in order to hedge against inflation and economic crisis, because the dollars currently sitting in their vaults, in their reserves, in their treasuries are doing nothing and are only melting away as time goes by. Bitcoin used to be viewed as a risk. It used to be viewed as speculative. The tables have turned completely. It is now a hedge against the dollar that you cannot afford not to take on, not to incorporate into your corporate strategy. Zero Hedge here also commenting on their post from November 25th when they discussed MicroStrategy and Michael Saylor from the 25th of November. MicroStrategy hits 20-year high after Citron call Bitcoin jump. Here comes the new blockchain bandwagon. Which company will convert its cash into Bitcoin next? So MicroStrategy, and I guess Zero Hedge as well for their coverage. Kudos to Zero Hedge, really understanding kind of the writing on the wall. And commenting today on the 28th of December is Zero Hedge. More and more coming. Well, what are they referring to? MicroStrategy, in light of all the weekend's momentum, is also up. And forget about the profit that they made with Bitcoin, which is probably now in excess of $500 million. In fact, I haven't done the math just yet, but I'm sure Michael Saylor has made hundreds upon hundreds of millions of dollars with the Bitcoin appreciation alone. But that's besides the point now, because even, again, the traditional market valuations for any company associated in any way with blockchain, crypto, and Bitcoin is now increasing. And MicroStrategy here, right now worth about $3.389 billion, they're up 12% on the day. Markets open today, and in response to all of the positivity with Bitcoin, MicroStrategy is now up to $364, which, by the way, I believe with the exception of a period very early on in their history, is an all-time high. Here's a 6-month chart we're on Yahoo Finance. You can see that back in July, before any talk of Bitcoin, MicroStrategy was listed at $119. So here you have more than a doubling based on Michael Saylor's strategic Bitcoin plays. I mean, guys, is there any reason for the other CEOs, for the other corporate leaders of the world not to adopt this strategy? It is irresponsible not to incorporate a Bitcoin strategy into your corporate treasury. I mean, this is almost becoming like an economic law at this point. So, of course, I have my bias, as you can tell. I'm very entrenched in this space, but to me, GreenPro signals something very special. I think they're going to be the first of many that, again, are going to jump on this bandwagon. And look, it's a large tent. We welcome everybody, whether you're in the traditional finance space, whether you're a DeFi company that's starting up. There's room for everybody to participate in the growth of Bitcoin, of blockchain, of cryptocurrency. The pie is only expanding. Everybody can have a seat at the table and grab a piece and be very, very content indeed. Let me know, guys, in the comments below who you think is going to be next to step up to the plate and incorporate a Bitcoin strategy or create a Bitcoin fund. If you haven't seen our video previously from a few days ago, I guess this is from the 23rd of December, my take on why Elon Musk should do the same thing, why she should incorporate Michael Saylor's strategy and redirect a large portion of Tesla's corporate treasury into Bitcoin. I think if he were to do that, Tesla valued right now at about $600 billion, he could very easily, Elon Musk that is, take over the world and really catapult Tesla into the #1 spot in terms of the world's largest company. So check out that video. I'll link to that as well in the description below. In other news here, NASDAQ listed Marathon Patent Group, which is one of the largest enterprise Bitcoin mining companies in America, said that it's entered into a contract with Bitmain to purchase 70,000 Antminer S-19 ASIC miners for a total of $170 million. This purchase is the largest order in dollar terms, as well as the single largest order ever for S-19 miners that Bitmain has ever received. That's according to Marathon Chairman and CEO Marek Okamoto. You can read more about that here on globalnewswire.com. Now, if you're not yet convinced that the tides are changing, there's that expression, when pigs fly. Check it out. The pigs have flown, because Forbes, with their own crypto division now, is launching the Forbes Cryptocurrency Awards for 2020, if you can believe that. Imagine having that kind of coverage in 2017 or 2018, but it's happening. Forbes Crypto here. The former head of Morgan Stanley's pension advisory group, Caitlin Long, was named the first disruptive innovator on the Forbes Cryptocurrency Awards. You can read more about that on Forbes.com here, where they have their Forbes Awards 2020 with a dedicated crypto division. So I would encourage you to read through this. It's pretty entertaining, I have to say. Forbes Cryptocurrency Awards 2020, the $3 trillion Bitcoin marketing campaign. So that $3 trillion referring kind of sarcastically to all of the quantitative easing, all of the ceaseless money printing that we've been seeing out of the Federal Reserve. In a pandemic year, when the Fed printed so much stimulus money that the central banks saw its balance sheet nearly double in size, our Forbes Awards judge, Anthony Pompliano of Morgan Creek Digital, credits Jerome Powell with running a, quote, $3 trillion marketing campaign for Bitcoin. Many would agree. And as such, Forbes has named Jerome Powell as the person of the year in cryptocurrency. And I totally agree. If you were to kind of zoom out totally, you had no idea what was happening in terms of culture, in terms of politics, maybe you're an alien visiting the Earth, for example, you could look at what the Federal Reserve is doing and you could make the argument that they are, in effect, doing everything from a marketing and publicity perspective that they possibly could to make sure Bitcoin and distributed ledger technology and blockchain succeed. So that's, again, a little bit joking here to kick things off, but there are some good awards here and some good meat that you should dive into. Best product, for example, Square's Cash App. You've likely heard about that. Most intriguing newcomer, something we've talked about in this video as well as many others, but Michael Saylor of MicroStrategy, who seemingly has appeared out of nowhere. Michael Saylor, as a reminder, only got into Bitcoin this year. He was never on the scene during previous cycles, even as early as 2019. Michael Saylor was not somebody that was focused on Bitcoin. He was focused on running his company and providing MicroStrategy shareholders excellent value. All of a sudden, he's kind of the new champion of this space, perhaps the eminent champion of this space, arguably. So check out what they have to say about Michael Saylor. Disruptive innovator Caitlin Long, who is the former head of Morgan Stanley's pension advisory group, a rising star in cryptocurrency. And there's some other awards here that you might want to check out. It's going through actually, some of the highlights of 2020 and whatnot, and some of the key individuals that shaped the year of cryptocurrency, which has been largely defined by DeFi, decentralized finance, as well as NFTs, in my opinion, non-fungible tokens. So check that out. We'll link to that as well in the description below. And here we have this announcement from yesterday, Exceed Me. We're excited to share the listing date of XED on Polkastarter. It's going to be on December 30th at 12 p.m. XED will also be trading on Uniswap right after at 2 p.m. So let's finish 2020 on a high note for a year 2021 that will exceed all expectations. You can read more about that on the link here that's provided. And finally, guys, today in the news, REN Protocol with this update. Congrats to the Synthetics.io team on the Shaula release. That might be Shala, one or the other. This update allows users to borrow SUSD and sBTC against REN BTC. You can access this functionality thanks to the UI built by VBS Streets, #RenVM, and you can learn more about that here with the tweet that is linked to. So guys, so much happening in the news today, so much to be excited about as we meet this crossroads between traditional markets, in my opinion, and new emerging crypto DeFi markets. More and more corporate companies in the traditional sector are being rewarded for their involvement in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. I still think we're super early and it's only just getting started. Once again, let me know in the comments below, beyond GreenPro, beyond MicroStrategy, who do you think is going to be next? I'm kind of keeping my fingers crossed for Tesla. I don't think they're going to be the next because they would have a lot of money to move. I think it would be more of a slow procedure for them. But some of these smaller people on the level of maybe GreenPro, maybe they're $50 million, $100 million companies, they're a little bit more agile. They have fewer dollars in their treasuries to make these kinds of decisions, but they're able to react more quickly as a result, and that's the trade-off. So let me know in the comments below who you think is next, guys, but this is a fast-moving space, so of course, be sure to follow us on all the regular social media channels. Keep checking back into altcoinbuzz.io for all the latest. Like, subscribe, share, and hit the bell to receive notifications. Of course, if you guys enjoyed today's video, don't forget to check out our Telegram trade signal group. I'll have that pinned in the comments below. Best of luck, guys, if you choose to invest on this Monday. It's going to be an interesting week, I think, so have a great one. Stay safe. And as always, we hope to see you again soon in our next video. Take care.